It's round 7 here at the Metagames SCG Invitational. I'm here with Carrie and Matthew Barrett. They've just played a very exciting and very quick match on camera for us. Carrie won 2-0. Carrie was playing Red Deck Wins, or Dirty Red, whatever you want to call it, and Matthew was playing a bit more of an interesting deck. So what were you playing, Matthew?
It's Naya Humans with Angel of Glory's Rise. It's a reanimator deck. It's mainly to get value out of human creatures before you, and to trade with your opponent's creatures and then reanimate to win, basically.
So have you got like semi-infinite loop in your deck with Fiend Hunter, or are you not playing that kind of interaction?
No, it takes up too much slots as a card, and there's no human that lets you sacrifice creatures for free, so it's just not worthwhile.
Sorry.
Oh, go on.
Go off there. Sorry. So, Carrie, you were playing the ever-present Red Deck Wins. It's been good for you today?
Yeah, I kind of got slaughtered in round 1, and I thought I just made the worst deck decision imaginable. It was just looking like it was going to be terrible. And then I've just had a really good run. A couple of my opponents have been mana screwed, but I've just started to feel comfortable with the deck. That was a very comfortable win, actually. Sorry.
It's fine. Mine's a lot slower than RDW. I've got no chance, really.
So you basically made Hellrider on turn 4 both games, and then Matthew unfortunately couldn't really deal with it, and then you killed him. You turned men sideways, he died.
It's pretty good summary.
It's basically the history of Red Deck Wins in Magics versus anything that's mid-range.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary. This deck doesn't let you miss a mana drop. It doesn't let you get behind. You know, you're playing a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 2 and a 1-drop, and then a 4-drop, and it's like, unless you're playing a Supreme Verdict next turn, and I don't have a Brimstone Volley to just kill you on the untap, then yeah, it's looking pretty bad for you.
So that's the exciting 10-minute match analysed. So what do you guys think about the tournament in general? Like the whole setup, metagames, how they've run it. Go for you, Matthew, first. What do you reckon?
The metagame's very heavy on Naya and green-white aggro and the new red-white-blue control deck that's alright. But all in all, it seems to be moving towards more mid-range, removing counters because of Cavern, and then decks seem to be trying to get in value for their creatures more than anything else, and then a deck like Red Deck Wing comes along and just goes, bah, you die. Every deck's trying to run Farseek, and then after that, Carrie's deck's just going, you die. It's not very nice.
So what do you think about the tournament in general, Carrie, then? The whole organisation, the cash prize especially?
Yeah. The tournament today actually has been really well run. Super props to Metagames. The organisation behind the scenes has just made the rounds run smoothly, which is my huge bugbear at tournaments. It's a long enough day without us having to wait half an hour while we sort the standings or something.
Even we've not messed it up too much.
Sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought. It's been very well organised, and the attendance, I thought it was going to be huge because everyone we talked to last week, there was PTQ last weekend, and everyone was like, oh, I'm going to this, and then I went home and all these people that hadn't gone to the PTQ were like, oh, we're going to the SCG thing. I think everyone's a little bit sick of PTQs. The prize payouts aren't that great. I mean, admittedly, this tournament costs slightly more to enter, but you've got much better, having the cash prize is a big incentive. The fact that there are 4 slots, so if you actually just want to qualify like me, obviously the cash prize is nice, but if you want to qualify, having 4 slots is a huge bonus. And I think that's just really appealed to everyone, and they've come out. I mean, whether, if it became a very regular thing, you'd still get that large turnout, I don't know, but Metagame's done a great job running it, so.
Well, that kind of leads me on to my next question of it becoming a regular thing. If they did become regular, what locations would you guys think would be the best place to kind of run them, personally?
Well, I live up in the northwest, so I clearly think Liverpool and Manchester are good places to run it. But maybe Birmingham, that seems pretty central to England. That's a pretty good place to run it from. I don't know what store's there, so I don't know exactly who would be running it, but I'd assume they'd be doing a good job anyway.
Well, probably Metagames would rent somewhere and run it down there themselves, I think. What about you, Carrie? I'm assuming you want it more down south and then we get stuck in the middle again?
No, Doncaster is 2 hours for us from Cambridge, so that's a very comfortable drive. Somewhere that's, if we can't find a lift, getting somewhere that's on a train route, a good connected train route, not you have to take 5 changes, is obviously a huge bonus. keeping it as central as possible is always going to maximise your turnout, and don't clash it with a GP. That's my other bugbear. I can't stand all these tournaments that clash with GPs. But like, I can never get up to Scotland when there's an event. It's just not possible. But I mean, we travelled to Liverpool and Manchester. I would want to go wherever it was, but more central is better for people.
Thanks, thank you. I know Matthew, we spoke about this already, but you're not playing Legacy tomorrow. Is that an actual choice, or just because deck availability and things?
The cost of Legacy. I mean, starting Legacy if you've started recently, if you're a younger player, is nearly impossible. You need so many of the really expensive dual lands. Half of the decks have at least one card that costs 30 quid, something ridiculous, for it to be good enough to play in tournament level. So it's just too hard to get into.
You not consider perhaps offering to borrow? Like, I don't know whether you know people who have decks as well. Is that an issue? You don't have anyone you could borrow off? If you could get a deck, would you play tomorrow? If you like, someone could lend you a deck.
I don't know. I like well, Magic is a deck building game. Constructed format is a deck building game. So, not building my own deck just wouldn't feel right playing it. It's not as fun.
So you're more of a rogue choice deck builder. You like to tweak it your own way. That's fair enough. I can respect that. What about you, Carrie? Are you in the Legacy tomorrow?
Yes, I'm going to be playing Esper Stoneblade for the first time ever, so I'm sure that will go appallingly, just like today was meant to. I mean, it's on the cost of cards. It is hard to get into, and you can borrow. I have borrowed cards in the past, but it is so stressful, especially when you get to Legacy. You know, the condition of the cards matters, and if you're only borrowing, like, I'm running a Hallowed Fountain tomorrow rather than my third Tundra, because I was like, if I borrow a Tundra, I have to worry which one of the three was mine, and you don't want to return a better condition one or a worse condition one because you're doing someone out of some money. And you know, I borrowed half a deck once for a GP, and I was super stressed all day about losing it getting nicked. Like, I could afford to replace the cards. That doesn't mean I want to replace the cards. But it's an interesting format to get into, but I don't think there's any rush as a newer player, you know, because you don't see a lot of it. Yeah.
Would you maybe prefer it to be like a double standard IQ then?
No. I wouldn't know. Yeah, that is too much standard. Like, even when the standard format is really exciting, because if you've picked a deck, you know, it's because you think that's the deck you should be playing, and I don't want to play 2 days of this deck. I mean, they did a PTQ WMCQ double last year. That was double standard, and I actually won the WMC, which was the next day WMCQ, by metagaming massively against what I saw in day one, and that is something that becomes an option. But no, you just want something different. I mean, maybe modern would be more popular, but I hate modern at the moment. I'd rather it was Legacy or block. We could do some block.
What about you, Matthew? Would you prefer it to in double standard, or that would have been a bit too much for you as well?
That's definitely too much. Playing the same deck twice is ridiculously boring. I mean, you can swap decks with your mate, but it would still be a bit naff. Modern seems like a good format to get into once Modern Masters comes out. I mean, it's having a limited print run, but it means that people who don't have the cards, who don't have the 30 quid Thought Seizers, etc., can actually try and get into it.
The 70 quid timer, guys.
Yeah. Well, Jace is banned, so it doesn't matter. I didn't say that. Nobody heard that.
All right, guys, thank you very much for your time on the excellent feature match. Best of luck in next round and heading towards the top 8. We'll hopefully see you there. Bye. Thank you.